Would you catch me if I fell? 'Cause my feet are at the edge right now. My head's been drowning in thoughts of us, but you're not around.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Opening Act, a podcast interview show with me, your host, Brandon Hilder. On today's episode, our special guest is Jacob Wright. Jacob is a singer and songwriter. This is his song, To Be in Love.
Oh, you've got my soul in the palm of your hand. Oh, to be so in love with someone who can. Would you answer if I called? Can't you see how bad I'm dying to talk?
How are you doing, Jacob?
I'm good, Brandon. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. Good day at school. Got to learn how to sew a little bit, so,
Nice,
that's fun.
nice.
Yeah, gotta love that, the home ec.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you play?
I want to say I'm in between, like pop and indie and alternative around those lines. And that's definitely the kind of music I enjoy to listen to as well. So
Yeah.
it's kind of just natural that my taste falls in lines with that.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So, when did you first discover your love for music?
Oh, this is such a good question. I've always been singing my entire life. There's not a time where I remember not. Every time I'd have headphones in, I'd be singing. But I really, really got passionate about it when I was about a sophomore in high school. And I was singing, I just remember singing one of these, an Ed Sheeran song or something in front of my friends. And they were like, dude, you're really good. And I was like, I was like, maybe I should just like practice and see what happens. And I fell in love with the guitar and everything like that. So.
Wow. So what bands and songs inspire you while writing music?
Dude, it's changed a lot. I got really into music. First off, I was listening to a ton of Macklemore, like my freshman year of high school, my sophomore year of high school. That's what really like got me into music. And I was like, man, this guy's got some great stuff. And then right now it's kind of just changed throughout the years, but right now I've been listening to a lot of the 1975. Do you know them?
I can't say I do.
They're awesome. You should check out some of their songs after this. I love them. I've been listening to a lot of Maggie Rogers, Harry Styles. I'm kind of Greta Van Fleet. That's a rock band. But that's kind of just what I've been really enjoying some of those songs. So
yeah,
I've been kind of keeping them on repeat.
What was like the first, like as far as you can remember, obviously, but the first band that you like really, really fell in love with?
The first band I really, really fell in love with was Jonas Brothers. Way back in the day. Way back in the day. I had to have been like, I can't even remember how old I was, 7. And
Wow.
They had released their song, I don't even know what year it was. I mean, I was pretty young. It's Paranoid. Do you know that song? Jonas Brothers Paranoid. I did not stop listening to that song ever. And then I transitioned into like Justin Bieber when he was really big.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved the Justin Bieber songs. And me and my family would just listen to those on car drives and just rock out, man, jam out.
I remember when Bieber was popular. I was pretty young.
It was popular. He still is.
Well, like when you said like the really, like when
Yeah,
he
when
first
he
got
like,
really big.
got
Yeah.
big. Yeah. He had everyone in a chokehold for sure.
Yeah, I remember those days. How would you say, compared to now, like your favorite bands and the type of music has changed that you listen to? How has that changed, if it has changed?
It's definitely changed. I don't know. I think it's changed in a sense of like how much I think in what parts of the song I enjoy more throughout my life. So I mean, it started out just as like what like overall I like Macklemore because I feel like he talked about some awesome stuff, and then I love the way his music sounded. And then it kind of transitioned into like some real singers. Like I was really into Shawn Mendes like my junior year because that's when I was really getting into the guitar.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed his songs just because of I like who he is. He's a very passionate guy, and I started to really appreciate that. Like I started to really appreciate the work that artists put into their music, and like whether or not people enjoy it. I think there's always something about every song that is like a piece of the person who wrote it. That's definitely stuck, that part of that. I really don't hate a certain type of music because I can just feel the kind of effort that people put into it, right? But
Yeah.
it's definitely changed into more. I don't know. I love indie stuff now just because I feel like it's kind of abstract in a lot of ways. Like a lot of their lyrics and their sounds are very not linear, and they start a lot of trends.
Yeah.
Which is something I love. I love when people are original. So yeah, it's something that's changed. That's kind of how I examine music as well.
Yeah. I know I've personally been getting into some like indie rock, like a whole bunch recently. Like actually one of the very first band I had on the show, they're called Husbands. They're an indie rock band, pretty mellow, good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
I listened to some of their, so I went and watched part of that interview, and I started listening to some of their songs, and I do like some of their songs. They're pretty talented.
oh yeah. Yeah. They're good. Yeah. That type of music though, it's different and in like the best way possible. I don't know, like you said, abstract. It's good stuff. What is your favorite part about making and playing music?
The ability to be yourself, and you don't have to apologize for it, and you don't have to feel like you're being judged because everyone enjoys the song. It's nice because I feel like music is kind of this setting where you can talk about things that are on your mind without anyone really like reading that deep into your personal life, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And everyone just kind of takes music and applies it to themselves. So I love that. It's very therapeutic. That's something that I've definitely fallen in love with, is just the fact I feel like I can get things off my chest and understand myself more, and
Wow.
just be more authentic.
What kind of processes do you go through while writing?
I've kind of had one, like when I was first starting out, it was just get the guitar part first, and then we'll work on the lyrics later. So I would hash out what I wanted the verse to sound like in the chorus. But now it's definitely changed. I feel like I'm always writing. That's kind of what I tell my friends when they ask questions like this.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always thinking of things that I want to say in my music, and
Yeah.
I like if you saw my notes app on my iPhone, it's crazy. I need to like find a way to save all these so I don't, in case something happens to my phone. But it's definitely turned more into a lyric will come into my head, and I'll go home and just kind of play around on the guitar. Sometimes piano. I'm not a big piano guy, but I'm starting to be a big piano guy. I really enjoy it. Yeah, I'll go around and just mess around on the guitar. And most of the time, I mean, you put effort in, and most of the time a tune just comes out. Like that's kind of what I found. So it's definitely turned into, I'll get a lyric first, and then I'll try to match it up with something on the guitar, and then I'll just write from there. And I just kind of start from start to finish. So I'll start with the verse, then I'll try and write a chorus, and I'll do the second verse, and I'll revisit the chorus just in case I don't like the way it sounds or fits, and then whether or not I want a bridge or something, I'll go from there and just see how I'm feeling.
And with you talking about just like always constantly writing the lyrics and stuff, that's something I've heard a lot in the music world. People are just always listening to what sounds good and always paying attention to things like that. What's been your like biggest aha moment with lyrics?
My biggest aha moment. Oh, this is good. I would say so far, at least in songs that I've released, I'm working on some songs right now that I adore so much, and they feel so authentic. But out of the songs that are on the album, Head Over Heels was probably one of the first, like, holy cow. I think if I showed this person the song, hopefully they would fall in love with me, right? Like, it was like it was like, that was one of the first times where I felt like, I was riding the wave, like the creativity wave, like it just came.
Wow.
I was struggling for a couple months of writing, and I had really bad writer's block. And then there was just one day where I was humming and playing that tune, and what was the line? One of the lines came to me. I think I love the way that I perfectly described the person that song's about. And that's like the first time I've ever done that, where it hasn't been like so vague. It's been pretty, like it hit the spot on like who this person was and what this person enjoyed to do. And I feel like that was probably one of the first songs that I was extremely, really, really proud of writing. And I would say that's probably my biggest aha moment from that album.
Obviously, music is really important to me. It's probably really important to you. Why do you think music is important? Like, personally, why is it important?
I think it's important to express yourself, whether you're listening or you're creating. And music is kind of an outlet of self-expression. Like you can really tell what someone is going through and who someone is by the music they listen to, because music is kind of an intimate thing. Whether you play music at parties and stuff like that, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just you and your headphones, or you and your phone speaker, or you and in your car driving home, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I feel like music is the best consumed, is when you're enjoying something because it's what you like and not what other people want you to like. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
That's, just listening to music because that's what you want to be listening to. That's how you want to feel. It's definitely,
for sure.
Definitely my favorite way to express emotions. Yeah. Music is really special for that. Then let's talk a little bit about performing and stuff. How do you deal with the nerves before performing a show?
I honestly, I have no idea. I think I have performed a lot, like not as much as a professional singer would, but I have performed. I've just thrown concerts and I've sang at lots of weddings, and I would say, I mean, it definitely, the more you do it, the less the nerves get, because you just get comfortable being in comfortable being uncomfortable, so you're used to it. But kind of in the spot where I'm at now, where I'm only performing like once every 3 months, once every 5 months. It's definitely, I mean, it's hard to calm your nerves. I almost kind of just look at it as like, okay, I'm just going to get up there and see what happens. Like a leap of faith, I would say. I've worked on breathing with a vocal coach. That's the advice they gave me, and that's definitely helped. Just because my heart's beating fast doesn't mean I should breathe fast. Breathe slow and stay calm. And if you mess up in the first 30 seconds, it's all right. The nerves will go away, and you'll forget about it. No one's gonna care. It'll be all right. Those are just kind of the thoughts that go through my head before I have to get behind a microphone.
So in December, I want to say, the new album, All in My Head, hit. What can you tell me about that album? Like, what are some of the inspirations behind that?
Dude, that was so fun. I mean, that was like a year and some of my life, writing and recording and meeting new people and getting to know my producer really well. And I mean, that album is, that's my first album. That's the first big project I've ever done. Those are the first songs I've ever done where I really kind of went in with like a band mentality rather than like a singer-songwriter acoustic mentality. And it stemmed from definitely heartbreak and just, I feel like just the season of life I was in at the time. And just kind of an extension of that.
That feels pretty good to get that album out of the way then, just finally get the first one out.
Oh my gosh. Good. I can't even tell you, like when it was done and I was, well, even just finishing it before it was even out, I remember we listened through it and it was such a surreal experience to be like done, like to just like and be as proud as you can be. It's some like kind of it felt like my baby. Like I felt like I had a child, and I was, you know, and I put so much work into, you know,
Yeah.
trying to be the best artist I could be at the time. And so it's pretty cool to look back and obviously I listened to, I took a huge break because I listened to him repeat because I was planning on releasing it and I wanted to get it perfect anyway. But I took a break for like 3 months, and I just threw on Head Over the Heels like I think it was yesterday or the day before, and I still feel the same. I'm happy and proud with the way it turned out, and I'm just excited that I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah. See, my favorite song that you've released is To Be in Love. What was the inspiration behind that song?
The inspiration. When I was writing that song, I was really on a huge Shawn Mendes. First of all, that was the first song I wrote for the album. So I wrote that in June, or I think it was May 2021, and I fell in love with it. I loved it. I showed all my friends, and they all loved it, and I knew I had something with that song. And I showed the guy I was working with at the time. I showed him the song, and he loved it, and he was on board to record it. But it's kind of, I mean, it's about just being overlooked by someone, I would say, being kind of neglected in a romantic sense.
You were telling me that the first song that you ever did record was Waste. Can you tell me a little bit about the story behind like recording that song and it being the first song?
Yes, Waste was my first time in a studio ever. I remember my friend, I was in high school, and my friend was a producer. So I texted him and I was like, "Hey man, I have a song. Would you mind helping me record it?" And I took it in there, and I did the best I could. I was not a very stellar guitar player by any means at the time, or even a singer. And it ended up just, I mean, being what it is. It's not like, obviously it's my first song, so it's not, it's not the best I can do, obviously. Yeah. But I really wanted to see if I could do it, if I could make a song that people enjoyed and I was equally happy with. And I feel like that was a great start. And I feel like it kind of is, it's nice to go back and kind of have that map of where I started and where I'm at. And it's always inspiring to go back and listen to those songs just because it's motivating, makes you want to keep going.
What is your favorite song that you've written?
My favorite song that I've written, I would say would have to be, I love Where Do I Go From Here? That is definitely one of my favorites. It's just, I mean, I wrote that at a low point in my life, and I feel like it was it kind of just encaptured everything that I was feeling at the time. And I think that's one of my most like authentic like periods of my life where I wasn't shying away from anything I was feeling. I decided it was better to kind of confront that than to just keep running from it. So that definitely has to be my favorite writing.
Okay, this question might be a little weird, but if you had to change, like completely change the genre of music that you play, what kind of genre would you change it to?
I would totally go rock and roll. I love rock and roll. I've been super into just like I love some of the Nirvana songs. I love some of the Rolling Stones songs, Guns N' Roses. I'm not as into them as I wish I was, but I love Greta Van Fleet. I think I mentioned them earlier, but they are like one of my favorite bands right now. And I love, like, they're just bringing that 70s rock and roll feel and like modernizing it. It's so awesome. So that's what I would do if I had the range for that, and if I had the musical talent for that. I definitely would try some things like that.
Yeah. Do you remember the first concert that you ever attended?
Yes, I do. The first concert I ever attended. It was Imagine Dragons. I think I was either a freshman or a sophomore in high school. And the whole time I kept thinking how cool it was that they were on stage, like singing and performing. And that's my first concert experience. And I thought that was awesome. And I haven't been to very many concerts, unfortunately, but that one definitely stands out just because it's my first one. And I'll probably will always remember that. But it was a pretty awesome concert.
So, what would be your dream concert? Like, any of the bands that you list, we can say they're like in their prime. So what would be your dream concert to go see?
Oh, my dream concert. Oh, any artist, anytime.
Yeah. Yeah, and they can be like an artist from the 70s, an artist from 2010. It doesn't matter. This is imaginary, so pile them up however you want.
Yeah, I would say probably Queen. I'd want to see Queen live.
Yeah.
I love a lot of the Queen songs, and so it would be so cool to see him perform because I watched the Bohemian Rhapsody when that came out, and I was jealous I wasn't alive then.
Yeah, I feel that way about some music too. Yeah. I would totally want to go see Queen too. Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, he was a great performer, and he was just he was innovative. He made some crazy sounding songs at the time that nowadays were like, he was kind of ahead of the curve as far as the way he laid his music out, I would say.
Yeah. I've had the privilege to go see some pretty amazing concerts in my life, but there's still some bands that don't really exist too much anymore that I would love to see, and that's definitely right at the top along some other good bands. Yeah. What's been your favorite venue that you've played live?
My favorite venue, I think so far I haven't really played in a real venue yet. I'm planning on one this year. I'm going to try and get some stuff figured out. But the favorite place I've played would have to be I played at this like lounge in Utah that my friend owned, or at least the company he worked for owned, but he got to use it whenever he wanted. And I threw a concert there, and we had about 120 people, almost 130, something like that. Come and watch me sing some covers, and that was so fun. But that's probably my favorite place I played, just because it was such a I loved the spot. I loved where we were at in Utah. It was cool.
What covers did you play?
I think I played like 12 or 10 to 12 songs or something like that. It was like a year and a half ago. So I played one of my favorite songs of all time is Two Ghosts by Harry Styles. And I remember back in the day, I would always open with that one because I was so comfortable with it and I loved it. And it's one of those songs that even when I'm nervous, I can just sing it by heart and trust that I'll get it all right without really thinking about it. And so I opened with that one. Then I think I sang Lost in Japan by Shawn Mendes next. And then I think I sang That Should Be Me by Justin Bieber. I sing a lot of different stuff. Niall Horan. I think I sang Cherry Wine by Hosier. I'm having a hard time remembering all of them.
It's okay. It was a year and a half ago. I wouldn't expect you to.
Yeah, it was a while ago. I would say
give me all of them.
I've definitely played those ones though. I definitely played those 7. I think I played in a couple originals too. I think I played Set on You. I don't know if you've heard that one. Played Set on You. I haven't ever performed Waste live. I should have, but
wow.
I just performed Set on You. I think I played Can You Feel It.
If you could go back in time and meet any celebrity, who would it be and why?
Back in time and meet any celebrity. This is going to sound so crazy, but I took a musical history class in the one semester I did of college, and we learned about Beethoven. And I think he was just so unique and interesting. I would love to just if I could sit down and talk with him and just pick his brain about not really about music, but just about how his brain works. I would definitely want to sit down with him.
Yeah.
That's actually so funny you bring that up because I have not, ever since I took that class, I've always thought that he was an oddball. He was interesting, but as many virtuoso musicians are.
Yeah, my brother's really, really big into classical music. I bet he would also want to go see Beethoven or Johann Sebastian Bach or any other of the greats.
They were crazy. They just had like, especially with like the tools that they had back then for composing. It's just, I mean, it's nothing compared to what we have today. And they made classics. These are songs that are going to be around forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
And it's just so crazy that these people actually existed. It almost sounds like it's fake. It sounds like they're from a movie.
Yeah.
Like the idea of someone being that good at composing and being a pianist it almost sounds unreal. But
you know what I was telling my brother the other day? I said, well, you got to think about it. All music comes from somewhere, and at the end, it all ties back into your classical music, and it even goes farther than that in some cases. It's like, when you really think about that, it's kind of crazy because
it is
all
crazy.
songs,
I'm taking a music theory class, and it's funny you bring that up because the guy I'm taking it with was just talking about that this week.
Yeah.
He said, we're talking about modes, and it's just crazy because they trace modes back to like Gregorian chant, like things like that, like crazy old stuff. And it's just weird to think that we still use stuff like that to compose or create, I guess now. But
yeah,
that's definitely a weird thought. Music has been around forever, and that's kind of inspiring.
Yeah, I got a band for you to look up if you want. So talking about the love for classical music, I don't know if you've ever heard of the rock band Son of a Bach, but what they do is they actually take all of Bach's pieces and pretty much just like put them in electric guitar and stuff. It's pretty crazy to listen to. It's like, whoa, because you just took this classical music and made it rockified, but it's like really, really good. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Son of a Bach, you said?
Son of a Bach. Yeah.
I want to look that up for sure.
Yeah. They're pretty cool. I would definitely like to go see them in concert, but I think they like live in Germany or something, so that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, that's a little hard, right?
Yeah.
$100 plane ticket.
I could be totally wrong with the Germany thing, but that's, I think.
Yeah, literally.
Dogs or cats? Which one?
Dogs or cats? I'm a dog guy. I love dogs. I think dogs are just a lot happier.
Yeah.
Of a species, yes. And I love my dog. The breed is called Coton de Tuliar, and she's the best. I love my little dog.
Yeah, I love dogs too. I have a very, very awesome Border Collie mix with Lab, so very, very energetic.
Yeah, and that's not to say I don't like cats. We have a cat too. We got a cat like last year, and it's a crazy story. My sisters were just out and about the neighborhood, and they found him in a bush, and he was like a kitten. And like my parents said it was fine if we kept him, so we've had him ever since, and he's been great. Like I said, I mean, it's just different. Like a dog, at least my dog doesn't bring like half-eaten birds into the house, but the cat does. So, so I'm gonna have to go with, my favorite, the dog, just out of cleanliness even.
There was this one time back when I used to live in Idaho, we had this cat, and no joke, it jumped into our bathroom window and dragged in a dead rabbit. A rabbit.
Yeah.
It was like,
cats are just crazy. Like, why? What's the point?
Yeah.
Maybe I need more research.
Why'd you bring me that cat? Yeah.
I know.
And where I used to live, oh man, you'd find so many cats. Just like how you said, your sisters found it in a bush. That was an everyday thing where I lived. There'd be just stray cats crazy. Everywhere. It was weird because the park that we lived by, it was pretty much a animal dumping ground, which sounds terrible, but it was actually kind of cool because there'd like around Easter time, there'd be ducks and bunnies everywhere. And cats 24/7. That's a weird place in Idaho. Whew. But yeah, cats they're okay. I got one. He's cool.
Yeah, they're all right. We'll leave it at that. They're all right.
Yeah, they're all right.
Borderline nuisance, but it's all right.
What is your favorite movie?
Oh, my favorite movie. Okay, it was Interstellar for years and years. But now I think it's La La Land. I just watched La La Land for the first time in like October or something like that. And I bawled my eyes out. I thought it was so crazy, and I was kind of hating myself for not watching it sooner, but I think that's my favorite movie of all time.
I've never seen it.
You have to. I'm telling you right now, it'll change your life.
Do you have a favorite quote?
Yes, I do. Favorite quote. I've been into some of the Buddha quotes lately. I've been doing a lot of research on him and that stuff, and I love forgive me if I'm butchering it, but he said, go about the world with boundless love. And I think that's probably the most positive thing to live by, because everyone's deserving of it. And I think that's kind of what he means when he talks about the world. And it's also something that I try to pour into my music is just light, if I'm able to.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's songs that are just so sad, like it's impossible. but I try to, and the happy ones I try to.
Yeah, some good uplifting songs. Yeah. What is your favorite fruit?
My favorite fruit. Oh, I would say probably a pear, right? A pear's a fruit, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like kind of like an apple. I haven't had a pear in a while.
Yeah. Okay. I love pears. Just because I don't know what it is about them, but I like them more than apples. I don't know if it's just the taste or the texture. I don't know what it is, but
and then
they're definitely, those are up there for me.
If you had to become a fruit, what type of fruit would you want to be?
A dragon fruit. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
It's a dumb joke. Yeah, a dragon fruit, because I think they look cool, I guess.
Wow.
I don't know anything about dragon fruits, but
this question, this one comes from my favorite TV show, which is Chuck, aired like back in 2007.
I love Chuck, by the way. I've seen all of it.
Me too.
That's one of my favorite TV shows ever.
I think I've seen it like 8 times. It's good to finally have someone on the show that has seen it.
Yeah, I really did like it. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah.
It's funny and it makes you really sad at the same time. And
yeah, it does. Like the ending, I was kind of sad. I was really sad.
Yeah. So you probably are going to be familiar with this prompt then for this question. If you were on a deserted island and could have one sandwich with you, what kind would it be?
Dude, I am familiar with that. I can't remember when they asked that, but I remember that was like
It was like the 3rd episode of season 1, 3rd or 4th.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I remember it from season 1 just because it was such like I don't know why it was
so random. That's why I remember it.
It is so random. Dude, I'm just gonna have to go regular turkey and cheese sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I ate for lunch today. I think
nice,
it was
same.
That. Yeah.
I ate one about like 2 hours ago, an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. Mine was like
easy to make, delicious.
Yeah.
Especially
Get that on
some
homemade bread. Woo.
I'm on that college fund.
There you go.
Even though I'm not in college.
Oh, Chuck, what a great show. Yeah, that's like in the scene where John Casey is like listening to him with his weird audio surveillance. And he mentions to him, he's like, I had to listen to you two knuckleheads talk about sandwiches for 6 hours. So obviously one of the most memorable parts, in my opinion, of that show.
Yeah.
The whole 5 seasons.
I need to go rewatch it.
Me too. It's been like 2 years. Too long. So this podcast, at least I try to have as many students listen to it as possible. What kind of advice might you have for them, like the ones that are listening?
Like as far as music goes, or like actual school goes?
Just whatever advice you have, pour it on
Whatever
us.
advice.
It can
I
be
think
whatever.
high school is important. I think high school teaches you a lot of things aside from actual class that I think are important to learn.
Yeah.
But other than that, I would say, I mean, if you be authentic, follow your heart. If you want to continue school after that, go ahead and do it. If not, there are so many other resources and things you can do otherwise that would keep you just as occupied and just as happy. So I would say stay in high school, do high school, finish the high school thing. But after that, I would say you just kind of choose whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, because you know the saying, if you do something you love, you're never going to work a day in your life. So you just got to go with that and find something you love with
and there's
whatever
always
it is.
Something you can. Yeah, and if you need to get a job to support doing what you love, go ahead and do that because it's important.
Yeah. Oh, that's good advice. And with the high school, people that are listening, finish it, please. It's so important.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And when you were saying, like, there's so many things that you can learn aside, besides from the classes, like, I know one thing I've really learned is to actually, like, try and also patience. But those can link pretty good, too. I did.
For sure. There's so many relationships that you develop, whether it's super close or kind of distant, and just class to class. And it's important to, I spent half my high school kind of taking that for granted. And then I kind of, as you get closer to graduating, you kind of like, hey, I'm going to miss this place. And you kind of wish you had been closer to a lot of the people that, even though they bugged you, you wish you had been kinder or said one nice thing to them. So I think
I'm experiencing
that. It's important to cherish it.
Yeah, I'll be graduating in May. That's, oh boy,
crazy.
That's soon. I know.
Nice job.
Yeah, but I agree. I've had some thoughts on that. It's like, I need to just savor it. And that's why I started doing this podcast interview show. It's like, I want to have fun with my last few months.
Yeah, seriously, that's awesome. I think that's great. I think it's such a fun outlet for sure.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn the mic to you. So if you have anything you want to plug or any shout outs, or if you have questions for me, that's something I haven't asked people before. This is your time.
Let's see. I'll try all three. Let's see. Obviously go listen to my album, All in My Head, if you haven't already. I think it's worth the listen.
Yes.
And if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's all right, but at least give it a try. I guess I'll shout out my mom and dad. Thanks for taking care of me.
Yeah.
thanks for making me who I am. And for you, Brandon, what is your favorite color?
What is my favorite color? Well, I have two. My favorite colors are like a lime green and a kind of a crazy looking purple. I don't really know how to describe it. We'll just say purple. Oh yeah, green and purple.
Yeah, I'm a green guy. I love green.
This is something that a lot of people that live out where I live know. My sophomore and junior years of high school, I had a green and purple mohawk. Like, for a few months it was green, and then for a few months it was purple. And I actually did it because I was going to a Green Day concert. I was like, I have to have a mohawk for a Green Day concert.
Yeah,
come on.
Seriously, that's sick.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was pretty sweet.
I wish I've tried more hairstyles for sure. Except I've been cursed with just like the inability to style my hair other than like one or two ways.
I guess that would be the wrap of this interview. It's been really fun having you on the show.
Yeah, it's been fun talking to you. This is like I've done one other interview, but it wasn't this long, so props to you. I love talking about music and life and things like that. So
me too.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I wish you luck with writing more music and getting more songs out there.
Thank you.
I guess I'll get talking to you later.
Awesome. I'll see you later, Brandon.
Okay. See you later. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to that interview. That was such a fun one to record. But before you go, I just want to make sure I thank a few people. Thank you so much to my high school, Powell County High School, for letting me use their podcast equipment. Big thanks to Mr. McConaughey and Miss Beery, and of course all the other great teachers at this school for helping inspire me and help me do this. Also, big shout out to Jacob for doing this interview, and also a big thanks to Elder Steenhook. You know who you are. You helped make this possible. And of course, thank you to all my viewers for taking time and actually listening to this podcast. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and follow me on Spotify. My Spotify name is The Opening Act of Brandon Hilder. Thank you so much and have a good one.